In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips that will help you stop needing approval from others in order to feel good about yourself. Hey, entre leaders, happy Monday. And the first thing I want to address is the fact that we're here a little bit early, and it's because the semester has begun. And so I actually have a class. My university classes have begun, and I have a class in about 30 minutes or so. So I am just going to jump straight in and share all of this goodness with you. For those of you who are brand new to my channel, my name is Dr. Charity C. Campbell. And like I said before, in this video, I'm actually going to talk about a problem that a lot of us face every day: the need for approval from others. Now, this can be really damaging because it stops us from being authentic and living out our God-given purpose. So I'm going to share 5 tips that will help you on your journey to authenticity by refusing to be defined by others and start living the life of your dreams. Let's get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and begin sharing our slides for today. And of course, if you're watching live, please go ahead, drop a comment as I will acknowledge you. I believe you could do that on Facebook and YouTube. Can't quite do that on you can't quite do that on LinkedIn just yet. But if you do go ahead and drop in your comment, I will make sure that it is acknowledged. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the very first thing. Now, for those of you who are new to me, please be advised that I am a kingdom believer and an entre leader. So most times I employ scriptures and quotes of positivity on my live streams. And with that said, let's go to our scripture for today. So our scripture for today is from the New King James Version, and it is Romans 12, 1 through 2. And it says, "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Now, this scripture is telling us that in order to be who God created us to be, we need to stop being conformed to this world. And that also means being defined by this world, being needing the approval, right? Instead, we need to let go of our old ways and be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And this is so important because it allows us to see the world through the lens of God's will for our lives, instead of allowing our lives, careers, purpose, and destiny to be defined by others. Now, Robert Frost once said, "Accept no one's definition of your life, define yourself." And that's really what today's message is about. How do we go about defining ourselves when we've been told all our lives by society, our family, and our friends, and our community, who we should be and what we should do? It can be really difficult to break out of these molds and become who God created us to be, but it's not impossible. It is not impossible. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share one way to start not needing the validation of others is just simply by refusing to be defined by others. That means stop letting other people tell you who you are and how you should behave. Instead, find out for yourself. Get to know the real you, the person that God created, and start living life on your own terms. Now, it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. And I'm ready to share the 5 tips to help you on your way. This is the first tip right here. It is to stop comparing yourself to others. Now, I know I say this one pretty often, right? Stop comparing yourself to others, but it's something that we need to hear on a continual basis, okay? Stop comparing yourself to others. When we compare ourselves to others, it's usually because we're looking for validation from them. We want to know that we're good enough and that we belong. But the thing is, here's the thing about wanting to belong. Nobody is perfect, and there will always be someone who is better than us at something. So instead of comparing yourself to others, start focusing on being your authentic self. this entire month for the past 4 or 5 sessions that we've had with our Monday Motivation Let's Talk, we have been talking about being your authentic self. How can you be more authentic to yourself? And actually, we're going to turn this into a playlist. Just these 4 or 5 videos, specifically in this one playlist that's talking about being more authentic to yourself. And you can watch the playlist up here somewhere. I'll come back and put it in the post. But in order to be your authentic self, be proud of who you are, faults and all, and let go of the need of approval from others. People always judge you for your mistakes, and you can either choose to believe it and be defined by it or ignore it. And the fear of not being good enough is one that likely holds most of you back from the things that you actually want to do. So being self-aware is key, and understanding the importance of confidence in the pursuit of a better life. Okay, so let's move on to the second tip. All right. The second tip that I have is don't be afraid to be different. Let me put that on the big screen for you. You need to see that really big. Don't be afraid to be different. All too often, we try to fit in and be like everyone else. But that's not who God called you to be. That's not who you are meant to be. We make the same mistakes. We listen to the same music, wear the same clothes, do anything else that we can think of to be like everyone else. But we're all unique individuals with our own strengths and weaknesses. Every person is different and meant to shine their own light in this world. So the thing is that what you need to really understand is that people will admire you for being different, and you'll start to feel better about yourself because you're finally being authentic. You're finally being true to yourself. Now, when you are true to yourself, you will find that the need for approval from others will dissipate. It will disappear. Imagine a life where you are true to yourself and you don't need approval from the outside world. In this type of life, you are your own person. You know who you are. And this will lead to a point where seeking approval from people around you will disappear. Now, listen, before I move on to the next tip, I want to know what are some ways that you uh, keep yourself from being boxed in from societal norms? If I were to ask you the question, I'll say this: how do you keep yourself from being defined by someone else's standards? That is, when we are defined by someone else's standards, excuse me, we are boxed in. There's no room for being outside of the box because we have to conform to this world. Remember the scripture we talked about? Be not conformed to this world. That is being conformed and confined. Conformed and confined is what happens. But my question is, how do you keep yourself from being boxed in? How do you keep yourself from being defined by someone else's standards? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, let's move on to number 3. If you are ready for number 3, you can go ahead and type in the comments, I'm ready for number 3. If you are watching on the replay, you can go ahead and type in ready for number 3. Okay, so here we go. Find your passion and do what makes you happy. Woo! And then let me tell you something. Let me adjust my glasses here. When you start doing what you love, when you do something that you're passionate about, it does not feel like work. You'll be so excited to wake up each and every day and do what you love. And not only will this make you happy, but it will also inspire others too. It will also inspire others as well. So you got to find your passion. Honey, you got to find your passion and do what makes you happy. And the need for approval will slowly start to fade away, because guess what? You're not going to be thinking about what other people want you to do. You're not going to be thinking about needing validation from others. You're going to be so focused on your vision and your passion. And that's what we really, really, really want. In this day and age, it's so easy to get swept up in the rat race. It's so easy to get caught up. One day you're chasing one thing, and then the next day you're chasing something else. This constant need for more, it can be draining. Take it from a multi-passionate entrepreneur. It can be draining, and it will eventually lead to unhappiness if you are not doing what you love. The trick is to find your passion. That's the key. Find your passion and do what makes you happy, no matter what others think. Okay? All right, let's keep it going. Keep it going. The fourth tip that I have for you today is to practice self-compassion. Now, I know this might be something that you're like, self-compassion. Self-compassion, what is that? Okay, so the same way that you are compassionate with other people, make sure that you are compassionate with yourself. A lot of time we are our own worst critic, and we are so hard on ourselves. We don't give ourselves a break. And basically, I mean, like we're kind of mean. We're mean because we're always looking for faults. But the thing is, nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. So start being kinder to yourself. Check out the video about how to be kinder to yourself right up here. Accept yourself for who you are and practice self compassion. When you do this, the need for approval from others, it ain't even gonna be there anymore because you'll be content finally with who you are. Many people are just not content with themselves, if I can be honest. They are not content with themselves from the inside. And so often this comes as a result of not accepting who they are, not self-accepting. We are always looking for, society to accept, but you need to accept yourself first. If you don't love yourself for who you are, you will seek approval from others in order to be happy. You'll think that, you'll think that being loved by the masses is what makes you special, and that's not true. Self-compassion can help change your mindset and make that need for approval to disappear, and also come to the realization that I'm already amazing. I'm already blessed. I am approved by God. The design and the purpose that He has for me in this life is lasting. So I don't need to be approved by others in the sense that, it makes me feel like I have a purpose or a destiny. Okay. All right. Last but not least, let's go to number 5. The 5th tip is set your own standards. Mhm. Yeah, set your own standards. Now, you don't have to go by society standards if you don't want to, but we often feel like we do in order to be successful. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to. Set your own standards. Don't let the standards that others have be how you run your life. You don't have to fall into suit with that, especially if that's not, everybody's purpose and passion is different. Everyone's path is different. So if you choose to start following someone else's path, you're going to miss out on the one that God created for you to blaze. Hmm? Living up to the standards set by society can be hard. Following in someone else's shoes can be hard, especially when the shoes don't fit. I just felt that one. there are always people who will try to tell you how you should live your life. And you may have to manage expectations from your friends, from your family, from your coworkers, your supervisors. I mean, so many, so many. And you might feel like you're not good enough. If we're being honest, remember, this is a series that we've been doing all month talking about how to be more authentic to yourself. You might feel like you're not good enough, or even just not enough in general. But the reality is that it's your life and you get to decide what's right. As you mature in life, you know what's best for you and what makes you happy because you discover your true authentic self. You're not following in the footsteps of somebody else unless it's what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, if that's part of your authenticity, then go ahead and do that, honey. But if it is not, just know that you don't have to follow someone else's pattern. So what I want you to do is start living your life on your own terms and don't worry about what others think. In order to be more authentic with ourselves, this is, the reason why I said this before. The reason why it is so important to be more authentic with ourselves is because when we are true and real with ourselves, then it's easier for us to be true and real with others. It's easier for us to be authentic with others. But how can you expect to be authentic with others and not truly be authentic with yourself? So, in order to do that, you definitely have to stop seeking approval and validation from the outside world. We have to get rid of the idea that other people's opinions count more than our own. I'm gonna say that again. I'm talking about in academia. I'm talking about in the professional life, the personal life, any type of association or relationship. We have to get rid of that idea that other people's opinions count for more than our own. Stop worrying about what others think of you. and live a life that is true and honest. When you do this, the need for approval from others is it's gonna be gone. I'm telling you now how to stop needing validation from others, okay? How to stop needing validation from others so you can truly soar in the destiny and purpose that God has for you. And you'll finally be free to be yourself. That's the most important thing. Is being free to be yourself instead of feeling like you're in bondage or you're in chains and you have to fit a mold that someone else created for you. So, those are the 5 tips. So let me go back and share them once again. The 5 tips that we have for you is stop comparing yourself to others. Don't be afraid to be different. Do what makes you happy. Practice self-compassion and set your own standards. These 5 tips that I just shared with you, they will help you in your journey of refusing to be defined by others. Now, here's my question for you. Do any of these 5 tips resonate with you? If so, start putting them into practice and see how your life changes. Living without the need for approval from others is one of the most freeing things that you can do. Ask me how I know. Firsthand experience. Firsthand experience. It allows you to be authentic and true to yourself. And honey, it opens up a world of opportunities and possibilities for what God has in store for your life. Now, if you struggle with the need for approval from others, know that you are not alone. The good news is that there are things that you can do to start moving towards a more authentic life. And as you can see, I've shared 5 tips to help you get started. 5 tips to help you get started. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. How has needing approval from others held you back? How has needing approval from others held you back? And what steps will you take to begin living more authentically? If you found this video helpful and you are on YouTube, I want to say thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, or you want some help, or you want someone to maybe keep you in prayer, then please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, I invite you to connect with me on social media. If you're tired of having lucrative ideas, but you have difficulty going from concept to creation, or maybe you just want to harness the power of the leader within by becoming more confident, or maybe you just want to become a better communicator for your personal and professional life, then every week you will find encouragement to fuel your flames as you go after your goals right here on our Monday Motivation Let's Talk series. And in case you need a little extra heat applied, check out my Let's Talk series playlist on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next Monday. And this is Monday China time, so so I will see you guys on next Monday.